This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features Revell's Big Blackbird, Gallery's stupendous StuG, Polar Light's USS Grissom, Revell's Swift Boat, Arma Hobby's F4F-4 Wildcat, Zvezda's T62, and Revell's Razor Crest.
New product rundown brought to you by Hobby Zone USA, your source for hobby storage solutions, hard to find hobby tools, and aftermarket modeling needs. And by Cult TV Man's Hobby Shop, the place to go for science fiction and fantasy kits, details, masks, decals, and more.
Welcome to FineScale Modeler's new product rundown, our monthly look at new kits and modeling tools and accessories. I'm Tim Kidwell.
I'm Aaron Skinner. First of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And with that, let's discuss the fact that this is FSM's 40th anniversary.
Founded in 1982 by
Bob Hayden, founding editor, obviously.
Yes.
And with that, we've got a whole bunch of special events planned.
One of those being, we are announcing here, right now, National Build a Model Month, which will be in November of 2022.
So look for news about that and what's going to happen with it in issues of FineScale Modeler magazine and at finescale.com. I should also note that we've got a bunch of special issues planned as part of that 40th anniversary, starting with the sci-fi special that we did in January, but we've got issues coming up about painting, detailing, aircraft,
dioramas.
Dioramas. You name it, we're going to cover the gamut of modeling like we always do.
Absolutely. So with that, we've got a packed show, and I think we should dive right into this.
And this is a kit that Tim, in particular, and a lot of other people are very excited about, and that is Revell's brand new 1/48 scale SR-71 Blackbird.
Now, I've been warned. I cannot just keep going on and on about the Blackbird, but I will say a few things. One, it is my favorite plane from the time that I was just a little kid. I love the Blackbird. It broke all sorts of speed records. Flew from New York to London in under 2 hours, and then from DC to LA in like 64 minutes, right? Could go faster than Mach 3. I get chills thinking about this plane.
It also just looks great. It is
so cool looking.
Lockheed design.
Yeah.
It just looks good, looks fast, black.
So I'm super excited that Revell is issuing this 1/48 scale kit. Let's go and look inside.
This is an all-new tooling from Revell, and the surface detail in the upper and lower fuselage sections is fine, and the characteristic corrugations on the wings are uniform. Obviously, this is a big model, more than 2 feet long when it's done. Inside, there are molded locators for a sturdy spine and cross members to bolster the long structure. The nose is separate with optional parts to account for differences.
The engine housings come in 3 parts and are molded with the outer wings. The elevons are separate, as are the all-moving rudders, although none of them are designed to be posable. The nacelles surround front sections with intakes, with the shock body, one-piece intake rings, and fans and stator blades at the front. At the back are fans that fit inside complicated nozzle structures.
Cockpit detail includes front and rear tubs with molded controls, as well as instrument panels front and rear, and 4-part ejection seats.
Well-molded landing gear legs mate with detailed wheels and fit into sharp gear bays.
Clear parts provide the windscreen, front and rear canopies, and lights.
Beautifully printed decals supply markings for 4 Blackbirds, including stencils, walkways, and instrument panels.
This is an exciting release from Revell, and I'm sure Tim can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done.
It is exciting, and I can't wait. All right, so just a warning. Aaron here has me saying German words, and German is not a language that I'm very familiar with, right? So we have right here Gallery Models 1/16 scale Sturmgeschütz III Ausf G.
Yes. So the Sturmgeschütz, or StuG III, was built on the Panzer III chassis and was the most produced armored vehicle in German service during World War II. This is the first time we've seen one in this big scale, so let's take a look.
A look at the well-molded lower hull shows this is a big model, well over 1 foot long. It receives road wheel arms with torsion bars that extend across the hull, shock absorbers, armed travel stops, road wheels with rubber tires, drive sprockets and idlers, and return rollers. Individual link tracks wrap the running gear.
The rest of the hull builds from the glacis with separate transmission hatches. detailed fenders, superstructure with separate roof and hatches, and engine deck with separate side vents.
Other external details include the tools, exhausts, smoke launchers, the commander's cupola, driver's vision slot, and supports and racks for the Schutzen. The last are provided in die-cut styrene.
The main gun comes in plastic and turn metal and includes a detailed breech with separate sliding block, recuperator, frame, and muzzle brake.
Photo-etched metal supplies engine screens, tool clasps, and the frame for an engine deck stowage rack. And the periscopes and vision blocks are given in clear plastic.
A small decal sheet and color diagrams give markings for 4 StuGs in various camouflage patterns.
So this is a big model and it should look impressive as a display. Now, as you've noticed, it lacks an interior. However, that gives you plenty of opportunity for super detailing.
I expect we'll see a lot of those kind of models on contest tables in the next couple of years.
I agree.
Next, we have Polar Light's 1/350th scale USS Grissom.
So the Grissom was the science vessel sent to study the Genesis planet in Star Trek III.
That's right. And it was quickly destroyed by the Klingons, who also show up to investigate the Genesis planet.
The Klingons, commanded by Lord Commander Krug, who was played by
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, and his trusty lieutenant, Lieutenant Maltz, was
John Larroquette.
Look at that. Look at that. Learn something new every day, right?
Indeed. Well, let's get back on track. I am really excited about this kit because I've always liked the look of the Grissom, and it'll be great to have one that matches scales like the big Enterprise, the AMT Klingon Bird of Prey.
Let's look at it.
Let's take a look.
The white plastic parts divide the primary hull into the upper deck with molded vents and mechanicals, to which is added the dome-shaped crew section with open windows, and the underside with more venting and equipment.
The canoe-shaped secondary hull comprises 2 halves that sandwich a sensor insert up front and the upper deck. Optional parts fill the void at the rear.
Detailed 2-part pylons connect the primary and secondary hulls. Each warp nacelle includes a 1-piece housing, an insert, and 3-part vent or intercooler. Clear parts provide inserts for all of the windows and various lights, and pre-cut openings should make lighting the ship easy. A black dome and metal rod will support the finished model.
A large decal sheet gives markings, stencils, stripes, and registry marks for Grissom and several other ships the filming model was used for, including USS Oberth, mentioned in Star Trek VI, USS Copernicus, seen in Space Dock in Star Trek IV, USS Pegasus from The Next Generation, USS Cochrane, seen on TNG and mentioned in Deep Space Nine, USS Vico from TNG, and SS Tsiolkovsky from TNG. Boy, they sure got their mileage out of this filming miniature, didn't they?
No kidding. So, what I love is that it's a 1/350th scale ship, and it'll look great next to any of the others that you may have in your collection.
From Revell, here's a 1/72nd scale Patrol Craft Fast or Swift Boat Mk.I.
So, from what I understand, these were initially based off of taxis, like water taxis that were being used in the Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah, to carry crews out to the oil rigs.
Wow. And so the Navy saw them and said, those are pretty quick. Can you make more of those for us?
Yep.
And then they were used in Vietnam.
Yes, large numbers, patrolling the rivers and the coastal regions. They're fast, quick, put some guns on them.
Let's go fast and quick into the kit.
The one-piece hull is solid with some detail at the stern and a very faint line to mark the water line. A pair of screws and rudders detail the underside. The deck drops neatly into the hull and includes some hatch detail and more.
The deck house includes a front, sides, rear, and roof.
Inside the wheelhouse is a seat, wheel, control panel, and radar scope. Behind that is a compartment with cabinet, galley, and sink, and bunks.
Armament includes 2 50 caliber machine guns in a turret atop the wheelhouse, and an over and under 50 cal machine gun and 81 millimeter lanyard fired mortar at the aft deck.
The windows are provided on thin sheet styrene with printed outlines.
Decals provide boot stripes, a flag, air identification insignia, and markings for 3 Vietnam War Swift boats, PCF 103, PCF 65, and PCF 9.
So this looks really attractive in the box, and I'm betting it'd make a really great Riverine diorama.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see many of these at shows this year.
Yeah, it's a nice size for that.
Next, let's take a look at Arma Hobby's new 1/72nd scale F4F-4 Wildcat.
Now this follows on from Arma Hobby's very well received FM2 Wildcats that were released in 2020. Let's take a look.
Surface detail on the fuselage and wings is extremely fine. The rudder and elevators are separate.
Cockpit detail includes a suspended floor frame, rear frame, instrument panel and console, seat and controls.
The Wildcat's notoriously complex landing gear builds from several parts, and a jig is provided to aid alignment. Optional wheels are given with slightly bulged tires.
The gear mounts on a firewall in a bay that includes engine plumbing and mounts. The power plant has 2 rows of cylinders, manifolds, and optional reduction gear housings. Also optional are the cowlings.
The windscreen, canopy, and belly windows are crystal clear, and masks should help with painting. Photo-etched metal supplies seat belts, controls, ignition harness for the engine, and landing gear parts.
TechMod decals supply stencils, seat belts, instrument panel faces, wing walks, and markings for 10 F4F-4s, including early war fighters at Guadalcanal and Midway, as well as Operation Torch fighters in American and British service, and more.
If you like Wildcats, Arma also offers a dual kit with the FM1 and FM2 variants built by General Motors. In addition to the great kit parts, this kit includes a pair of wooden carrier deck bases to display the models.
So Chuck Davis built Arma's FM2 and said it was a terrific kit. I expect this to be much the same.
Yeah, the review is online. Check the link out below. And Arma has been getting a lot of kudos for what they've been doing with these kits.
Yeah, they just issued a 1/72nd scale Mustang, which I hear very good things about also.
Next from Zvezda, we have a Cold War classic, a 1/35th scale T-62.
So the T-62, along with its sister, the T-55, were the backbone of the Soviet armored force during the 60s and 70s.
And Aaron should know because he's kind of a Soviet tankophile.
Well, I just think they look cool.
The hull builds from a belly, sides, rear plate and bow, glacis with turret race, and engine deck.
The running gear includes separate road wheel arms, road wheels, idlers, and drive sprockets. The Lincoln length tracks incorporate sag for the upper run.
Remaining hull detail includes fenders, fuel panniers, stowage and toolboxes, rear fuel tanks, and unditching log.
The turret shows restrained cast texture with separate front section to mount the 2-part main gun in a multi-part mantlet dust cover. Crew hatches are separate, but no interior is given. Grab handles and other details are delightfully fine. Clear plastic gives light lenses and periscopes.
The color marking diagram shows a single overall green tank from the 4th Guards Kantamirov Tank Division. But the decal sheet has a matrix of numbers, so it should be possible to build any tank you wish.
The parts look really great in the box here, and I, for one, am curious to see if they follow up with the T-55.
Me too. So this has been an episode full of models that we've been very excited to feature, and we're going to end with the one that I think I am the most stoked about. And that's hard, right? Because the Blackbird I went on and on about, but I could go on and on about this guy too. How about you, Aaron?
Absolutely. This is a ship that when it first appeared on screen, I'm like going, oh, I want a model, I want a model, I want a model. And now my prayers have been answered.
So here we are with Revell's 1/72nd scale Razor Crest from the Star Wars TV show, The Mandalorian.
This is a good size model, over a foot long when finished, and the lower fuselage gives a good sense of the sharp surface detail. The upper section of the fuselage has the bulge for the flight deck and the engine pylons.
The large engines are molded in halves that sandwich front and rear fans with separate intake rings and exhaust nozzles. The completed nacelles are locked in place by pylon halves.
Both side doors and the rear hatch, as well as their respective ramps, can be posed open. Inside, the lower deck features a cargo floor, walls with plenty of molded details, and doorways for the sleeping bunk and head. The ceiling doubles as the floor for the cockpit and has racks for the carbonite blocks the bounties are kept in.
The cockpit features walls, pilot and passenger seats, instrument panel, and bulkheads. A seated Din Djarin is given to man the controls.
Sturdy landing gear legs and pads ground the ship. The large cannons on either side of the nose round out the build. A stand is provided to pose the ship in flight.
The clear canopy panes are designed to drop into the openings from outside, making painting easier.
Decals provide the worn yellow stripes on the body, as well as cockpit and cargo hold labels.
So we're extremely excited about this kit. However, we have to talk about the pain. And the pain, the heartfelt agony of what happened at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And here's the thing, if you haven't seen the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, it's been a year. So these aren't spoilers. This is just you not being caught up.
Yes. It is ironic that we're getting a model kit of it after that, but I'll take it.
It was exploded. It got kaboomed. It got kaboomed. And it hurt. It hurt right there,
here,
didn't
right,
it?
Right in the old chest, yep.
All right, let's close this out.
Yes.
This has been an event-filled first episode of the NPRD.
For 2022, yep.
Take us out of here.
So look for reviews of the SR-71, Grissom, Swift Boat, StuG, Razor Crest, and T62 at FineScale.com soon.
And while you're there, make sure to check out the 1,500 reviews that we've got, more than 1,500 reviews that we've got, how-to stories, videos, everything else that is on the site.
And while you're there, stop by CombatHobbyStore.com to pick up all of your cool reading material and tools, including my personal favorite, the Tamiya Professional Hobby Knife. I never leave home without one, unless I'm flying, because TSA gets a little nervous about that.
Yeah, they do. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim Kidwell.
I'm Aaron Skinner. We'll see you guys next month.
So,
I was getting ready to...
just always, I know, I'm here to run down.
Next, let's take a... Oh, that's you.
It's me. It's me.
I'm sorry.
It's me.
I'm jumping
It's
all
my
over you.
turn.
Okay, go. For God's sake, go.
Let's try that again, shall we?
Jim, I'm a doctor, not a modeler.
There are
Comfortable?
all sorts of ways that could be mispronounced.
There.
You bastard. Grab Handle is the name of my next band. Or Multi-Part Mantlet Dust Cover. We are Unditching Log!